Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Let me guess. Lots of sequels this year?
Yep.
Remakes?
Oh, yeah.
Any new ideas?
Sure, but way more sequels and remakes.
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Story Time is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and this is our
Welcome
first...
to 2024.
Yes, this is our first episode for 2024, and we're excited to bring you 20... For those who don't know, we try to start the year with talking about movies that are scheduled to come out that year. We never do a follow-up. We should do a follow-up of last year's maybe next week about which ones we actually watched and that we were excited about.
How many actually came out.
Yeah. Because sometimes they don't, even if they have release dates, because things get pushed back. But anyway, we'll talk about that after the show. This week we're going to each talk about 10 different movies that are coming out this year. We're just doing them in release order. And the ones at the end, there's a few that are to be announced, so we don't know release order. And then a couple other changes for this episode, just because it's a different format. But, firstly, we still have to give a shout out to our sponsors.
We do.
Because some things don't change if you want to make change. And by that I mean
Money.
Big money, not just change.
Not just pennies, quarters.
Well, I mean,
dimes, quarters, half dollars.
Let's be honest. There are
sand
thousands
dollars.
and thousands of pennies.
I mean, yeah.
Dozens and dozens of nickels.
Dozens.
Anyway, Gory Story Time is brought to you by the Public Domain Horror Script Template. Our staff of writers have created a script for a low-budget horror movie. All that's missing are the names of your characters. You find the IP that's in the public domain and fill in the blanks. Voila! Your very own script you can use to make your own movie that follows this new trend of cashing in on expired copyright. The public domain horror script template, because why try to create something new when you're not really that clever?
All right. And by Sequel Songs, the album that follows up with the characters from your favorite songs, including new hits like Papa Was Right, the sequel to Papa Don't Preach, where we learn she is now a single mother because her man left and she kept the baby. Jack and Karen, the sequel to Jack and Diane, where not only Jack cheated with a girl, but it did it behind the tasty freeze. And of course, Rehab Boy, the sequel to Skater Boy, in the Skater Boy saga, where Skater Boy is in rehab and his one-hit wonder is a punchline used by comedians when discussing bad pop music. Sequel songs. Check in on your childhood favorite songs and see where they are today. Why let movies be the only things made worse by sequels?
Perfect. All right. Now, usually we try to break down what the plot of the movie is. Since we don't have a movie to talk about, we're just going to jump right into the part where we're going to each say a movie, give its basic plot if it's available.
Yeah.
And, release date if it's available.
Yeah.
And then at the end, where we normally do our favorite and least favorite scenes, we're going to each give our most anticipated and least anticipated from this list.
Yes.
But it's going to be from the list of 20. We have a few also rans that we're not really super duper excited about. Some of them, at least one of them. But anyway, I figure we can wait until we get to the one that we have.
All right.
We're going to play one trailer because obviously setting up 20 trailers. First of all, there's not a trailer for all 20. And second of all, what a pain in the ass that would be for the guy that is running the boards. And we're not going to put him through something like that.
Oh, my goodness.
Nor would he be willing to do something like that for this little show. He doesn't get paid enough for that. Anyway.
Oh, we're his favorite show.
That doesn't mean much.
No, well.
That's like, you're my favorite turd. That's why I polished you.
All right, I'll go first. So, Night Swim comes out today, January 5th. Forced into early retirement by a degenerative illness, Ray Waller moves into a new house with his wife and 2 children. He hopes that the backyard swimming pool will be fun for the kids and provide physical therapy for himself. However, a dark secret from the home's past soon unleashes a malevolent force that drags the family into the depths of inescapable terror.
All right. This next one has a bad name, but the trailer didn't look bad. It was called Baghead. It's due out February 8th. 4 struggling filmmakers retreat to a cabin in the backwoods of Big Bear, California, where they hatch an idea for a new film. A horror flick about a guy with a bag on his head who torments people. But when romantic interests crisscross and their story comes to life, they find that finishing the script might be the least of their concerns.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. The story continues with Pooh Bear hunting Christopher Robin for abandoning Pooh and friends, forcing them to eat Eeyore. Tigger is added this time around because now he's in public domain as well.
And Owl also.
They
showed Owl. And it looks, from the shots of stuff, they've changed all of their looks.
To be fair,
Piglet is back. And
yeah.
If you've seen the first one, spoiler alert, it looks as if he had been deceased in the first one. But to be fair, the first 5 minutes of the movie made it look like Christopher Robin had passed and he survived.
It looked like he was dead a couple of times in that movie.
I mean, in the opening animation.
Yeah.
But anyway. Now, this next one, after I read it, this is the one we're going to play the trailer for. So, this is called Imaginary. It's due out March 8th. When Jessica moves back into her childhood home with her family, her youngest stepdaughter Alice develops an eerie attachment to a stuffed bear named Chauncey that she finds in the basement. Alice starts playing games with Chauncey that begin playfully but become increasingly sinister. As Alice's behavior becomes more and more concerning, Jessica intervenes only to realize that Chauncey is much more than a stuffed toy bear she believed that he was to begin with.
Yes.
So let's play the trailer for that so you can get a visual.
Every culture has a name for it. We call them imaginary friends.
How does it feel being back?
Good. I had such good memories here. Maybe my happy place can be our happy place?
Who left you all alone down here?
It was just my imagination.
I'm playing a new game with Chauncey.
The scavenger hunt list. That's fun.
Chauncey says you're not allowed to play with us.
Oh.
Because you left him. I need something happy.
Something happy. Ugh. I thought bugs freaked you out.
If I can finish my list, Chauncey will take me on a trip to the place he's from.
Something that hurts.
Alice?
But it was just my imagination.
You've been spending time with a new friend?
Running away with me.
He asked you to do something that hurt you.
It was part of the game.
Does that seem like a game a good friend would want to play?
Maybe we shouldn't play together anymore, Chauncey. Maybe we shouldn't be friends. No.
Alice?
She's lost. But we're gonna find her.
Just my imagination.
Every culture has entities that tether to the young. We call them imaginary friends. You were always playing with your imaginary friend. When the connection was severed, the entity becomes enraged.
He says he's right behind you.
But it was just my imagination.
Can I hang out with your imaginary friend?
He's not imaginary. He's not your friend.
Yep.
I mean, that shows basically the outline
does.
that I just read.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire comes
Now,
out.
they might think, but is that really horror? If you remember, they started making, like, the third one, because I don't count the alternate universe one as, because it's not part of this
It's 1,
continuity
2,
anyway.
Afterlife, and now this.
Yeah, and Afterlife definitely had some horror added into it.
Much more than the first two.
Yeah.
I mean, the first two had some.
The first one had more than the second one.
And the third one had more than either of the other two combined.
Yeah. So this is definitely looking like it's going the same direction.
It does. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. March 29th. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters new and old must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age.
All right. The First Omen, due out April 5th. In this prequel to the Omen movies, a woman starts to question her faith when she uncovers a terrifying conspiracy to bring about the birth of evil incarnate in Rome.
Yeah, it's got a trailer. Looks good.
It definitely looks good.
Horoscope, May 10th. The story follows a group of college friends who, after getting their horoscopes read, begin dying in ways connected to their fortunes. Are their fates fatal, or can they change what's written in the stars? Based on a book from the 90s. Does not have a trailer.
Does not yet. I looked, there's other things called that, and on YouTube there's like a page called that. I'm willing to look into that, but it's not related, just because it sounds interesting.
It
it's
does.
Like horror versions of horoscopes.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, horoscope sounds a little like, what's that series that we were talking about last night where Final Destination.
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
Sounds similar. The Strangers, Chapter 1, May 17th. A young couple drives across country to begin a new life together in the Pacific Northwest. Along the way, their car breaks down and they're forced to spend the night in an isolated Airbnb house in Oregon. Through the night, they are terrorized by 3 masked strangers. Chapter 2 is also supposed to be out this year. The date for that one is to be announced.
The Watchers, June 7th. Mina, a 28-year-old artist, gets stranded in a forest in Western Ireland. This forest isn't on any map. Every car breaks down at its tree line. Left stranded, Mina is forced into the woods, only to find a woman shouting, urging her to run to a concrete bunker. Mina finds herself in a room with a wall of glass and an electric light that activates at nightfall. When the Watchers come above ground, these creatures emerge to observe their captive humans, and terrible things happen to anyone who doesn't reach the bunker in time. This is the first feature film directed by M. Night's daughter, Ishana.
Exactly. She's worked on a couple of his movies as like a assistant director and stuff like that, but this is her first full-length feature. A Quiet Place Day 1, coming out June 28th. An upcoming American post-apocalyptic horror film written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, based on the original story by John Krasinski and Sarnowski together. It's intended to be a prequel. So it's showing when those creatures arrived on Earth.
Yeah. Speak No Evil, August 9th, a remake of a 2022 Danish film of the same name. A family invited to spend a weekend in an idyllic country house go from a dream vacation to a psychological nightmare. There's not a trailer. I looked, and it was the Danish version.
Beetlejuice 2 is finally coming. Want to talk about things people are looking forward to. September 6th. Not much has been released about the plot at all, but we do know Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton return as the Lydia Dietz and Beetlejuice, and Jenna Ortega is in it. People assume she's going to be playing Lydia's daughter. Right. I don't think they've actually said that. And Willem Dafoe is playing an actor who always played a hard-boiled detective that passed away, and now as a ghost is a detective.
Yeah. Smile 2, October 18th. No real information other than people assuming Joel, the survivor of Smile, would be trying to outrun the demon after witnessing Rose's death and picking up where Rose left off in her investigation. I'm in.
Which is fine.
I mean, the first one was amazing.
I liked it a lot. A recent guest, meaning towards the end of last year on the show, said he thought it was mid, which made me want to slap him because he is in his mid-30s, and to call it mid is really just wrong.
Thumbs down on the word mid. But,
yeah, so also, October 25th, Wolfman is coming out. The plot details are being kept a secret, but they have said it will be set in present day, and it's about a man whose family is being terrorized by a lethal predator. Spoiler alert, it's a werewolf.
Yeah. Terrifier 3 comes out October 25th as well. Art the Clown unleashes bloody chaos on Christmas Eve.
I mean, that's all we need to... Yeah, there was a teaser, but that one's a little gorier. We try not to have too much gore.
And it's not long enough.
And it was like 30 seconds or something. Then on Christmas Day, they're releasing Nosferatu, the remake of the classic black and white film that we didn't get to until 2023.
Yeah.
So go back and watch our review of that, and
and possibly this one.
But basically, it's an ancient Transylvanian vampire stalks a haunted young woman in 19th century Germany in the remake of the classic film of the same name.
Yeah. Maxine, to be announced for the release date.
Yep.
The film follows Maxine, played by Mia Goth, after the events of X as the sole survivor who continues her journey towards fame, setting out to make it as an actress in 1980s LA.
And go back and watch our review of X.
X and not Maxine, the Pearl.
Pearl, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We really enjoyed that. So we're definitely looking forward to the third one in that series.
Yes.
Now, number 18. And there was a trailer for this. I suggest you go find it. It seems a little low budget, but not to the Pooh
Blood and Honey level.
1. Mickey's Mousetrap. It's Alex's 21st birthday, but she's stuck at an amusement arcade on a late shift, and her friends decide to surprise her. But a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse decides to play a game of his own with them that she must survive. They started filming it because they knew Mickey was going to be in the public domain as of January, and it had to be the Steamboat Willie version, so the mask is even like black and white and stuff.
The mask looks pretty cool. I'd like it.
It does. But they get, unlike Pooh and those characters, they get to look a little more like Mickey Mouse because
it's Mickey Mouse.
Right. That's the difference. He can't wear the gloves, I think, and there was something else.
Salem's Lot, to be announced. Ben Mayers is a writer who returns to his childhood home of Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a vampire, leading him to band together with a ragtag group to fight it.
So basically the same premise of Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot and Salem's Lot.
Yeah, they had... Originally, it was a mini-series that they cut down and made a movie version out of the mini-series. And then there was a reboot mini-series not that long ago, right?
Yeah.
And now they're doing this film. Yeah. And the last one we're going to list for our 20, Shelby Oaks, a woman desperate A woman's desperate search for her long-lost sister falls into obsession when she realizes the imaginary demon from her childhood might not be so imaginary. And there's a couple other sequels we should mention.
Yes. Alien Romulus.
Saw 11.
Return to Silent Hill.
And a movie called Thread, which is part of the Insidious universe. Kind of like Spiral was part of the Saw universe without being a sequel to Saw.
If you want a list of movies we will definitely not review this year,
I mean,
add Thread to it.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, like, depending on how things go with Saw 11 or, like... I'm never going to watch another Insidious movie.
Yeah,
no. They've been too disappointing. All right. Now, out of the ones that we've listed... which one are you most anticipating?
Most. That's the difficult one. That's the difficult one.
Okay, then do you want to say least?
I'll start with the least.
Okay.
So, The Strangers Chapter 1. Because the first one was awesome.
It was.
And the second one came out.
It sure did. They sure made that.
They filmed it and they put it on screen.
And our eyeballs
and we watched it.
Well,
we
couldn't even finish it.
We've never finished the second one.
It was that good.
I'm not necessarily stoked for another movie made by those people.
But if it's as good as the first one,
I don't know.
Right. For me, I'm going to say, honestly, out of all of these, I'm going to say probably Salem's Lot, I mean. Because I've read the book. It wasn't the amazing masterpiece, in my opinion, that everyone else seemed to think it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't care for the original movie version. I don't think I ever saw the full version of that. I saw the edited down to a film version because that's what they released. What are you most anticipating?
Right. I mean, okay, based on how I'm feeling currently, I'm going to call it Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, but that's just how I feel right now. In 10 minutes, it's probably going to be different.
Okay. And I'm going to say there's so many that look really good to me. Honestly, they really do. But as long as it holds up, I'm going to say... Smile 2, I have the most likelihood of feeling like it's going to be at the level it should be. There's like Terrifier 3, 2 was too long. There's others in the series that weren't as good. We love Terrifier 1.
I really had a good time with 2.
Yes,
but
so did I.
Like All Hallows Eve wasn't great.
They could have cut a half hour out of it and made it a tighter, better movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I suppose I'm going with Ghostbusters. You're going with Smile 2?
Yeah, either that or Maxine. Because Maxine 1 and 2...
Exactly, like Maxine...
X and Pearl were great movies. So those are the two that I think are going to be the best
about Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah, because
I'm worried.
It took
because
so
it's
long
been 30 years.
Absolutely. But that said, we're definitely looking forward to watching most of these. So, all right. I guess we don't have...
So yeah, the stuff on the side of the screen.
Yeah.
So you can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can check it out on Facebook, like Gory Story Time. There's 1,300 other people that already have. And you can also like Facebook. Yes. Fact TV, which I'm pretty sure has more than that.
Yeah, probably. You can go to factdate.com, watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, as well as everything.
And
basically.
You can follow us on what used to be called Twitter, now is called X. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Fernbrain. I only tweet things that he says that I find funny. Sometimes.
And that's basically it.
It is.
Yeah.
So until next week with the first movie of the year.
Absolutely. Unless we do a follow-up to last year's.
Unless we do that.
Which we might do. We'll see.
Might.
We'll see.
It'll depend. But yeah. Until then, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig. And Happy New Year. Ha!